imagine that that's the chorus of angels sort of hovering over our heads up there. Do you know what I have done to you? Do you know what I have done to you? That's what Jesus asked his disciples. And my best guess is that after he asked that, what he heard was crickets. Nothing. I mean, for us, we have some inkling, maybe, of what he's done, because we were, most of us, in church last Sunday, and we know the story. We've been here year after year. But these disciples who are gathered around the table, they don't know where this is all going. I mean, they're still kind of riding the high from Jesus' entrance into Jerusalem and all the hosannas. And so it must have been crazy when he got up from the table to wash their feet. Do you know what I have done to you? I can imagine that the disciples were like students in a class when the teacher asks a question and none of them know. They all suddenly get interested in their feet, you know? Peter, do you know what I've done to you? I bet Peter said, I got no clue. Why don't you ask my brother? You know? They don't know. We're sobered because we know the full trajectory of the story. They think that Jesus is the Messiah, right? But they think that means he's the King of Kings. They think that means his reign will be forever. They think that his power comes from might and that his sort of standing comes from royalty. So he gets up from the dinner table where he's being served, and he takes off his outer garments and he ties a towel around his waist and he washes their feet, and they're probably a little bit horrified, and they're certainly puzzled. What exactly are you doing to us? They don't have a clue. Do you know what he has done to them? Do you know what he has done to us? Do we know now? One of the ways we can answer that question is to think that what he has done is answered the question that's the title of the book we did for the Lenten study. That book was entitled, How Good Do We Have to Be? What Jesus has demonstrated by getting up and wiping and washing people's feet is we don't have to be any better than we already are to be loved. Jesus washes everyone's feet at the table. Peter, who would deny him 3 times. Here we go. Now that's right. Peter, who would deny him 3 times. Judas, whom John makes clear Jesus already knows is going to betray him. Jesus washes everyone's table. Everyone's feet at the table. Because that's how good we have to be. Just as good as we already are. Because that's how crazy his love is. What he redefines is how we are to love one another. It is not based upon status or standing. It's not based upon how good or bad we are. It's not based upon what we believe. It's not based upon where we live. It's not based upon how much we own. It is simply based upon the fact that we are his brothers and sisters, that we are children of God. We are good enough already. And he loves us. And he, if he were here today, would wash our feet as well. Do you know what he has done? You know, the crazy thing is, from the moment that he gets up to wash people's feet, we start putting up barriers. We start resisting what he's trying to do. Peter sort of gets off on the wrong foot. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Peter gets off on the wrong foot by saying, no, not me. Right? Jesus explains, and eventually Peter says, okay. But from there on out, the church has been trying to limit and redefine and sometimes even ignore what Jesus did that day. You know, at first it was only the priests engaged in that foot washing. Really? Because I thought I hear Jesus say here, we all should do that. We all should love one another. And then it was, okay, well, only men should do the foot washing. And then it was only, well, men should wash the feet of other men. And then it was only, well, we should at least wash the feet of only those people that are in good standing with the church. And then it was, well, maybe we shouldn't wash feet anymore, because that's just, I mean, that's kind of unseemly. Maybe we should just wash people's hands. You know, from the moment Jesus started to do this crazy thing, we've been trying to undo it. Because it just doesn't feel very comfortable. And it certainly doesn't feel like something that we want to do as well. And that's it. He has said, love one another as I have loved you. I was reading a little bit about Pope Francis. And isn't it interesting that his actions have been seen as scandalous? Because he went to a prison and washed the feet of the incarcerated. Because he had the nerve to wash the feet of a woman. Because he's even going to wash someone who's Muslim. And this is scandalous? Jesus washed Judas's feet, for crying out loud. Do we know what he has done? 2,000 years later, we know. We might not want to know, but we know. The bigger question is, are we willing to do the same? Amen.